Howdy, folks. Howdy. I'm Black Dragon, and welcome to another edition of Black Dragon Biker News Network. Biker news you can trust. And as always, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. I don't know what this blue spot is here. I don't even know where that came from, but there we go. We got a blue spot on our thing here. Listen, man. Listen. For those of you just now tuning in, we do biker news and every morning and Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday too. We're going to have a lot more news content through the day, but they'll be 3 to 5 minute long stories. Because what's happening is you guys are now starting to send me a heck of a lot more stories than I could ever find on my own. And I mean, you're just you're loading up the basket. So what I'm going to do is just start producing new stories throughout the day. They won't be the hour-long show that we have every morning, but they'll be, 5 minute, 3 minute long segments. So just start looking every day because we'll just have more and more news. Stories and stuff like that, and then of course we'll have the MC protocol and stuff like that. So share, and subscribe, and we absolutely appreciate having you guys here this morning. Right. All righty. So we're gonna move to our news story, and this one really hits close to home. Because you always think of this as happening to someone else. And as you guys know, this very thing happened to my own MC a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And and if this happens to you or you're an MC, it's absolutely unbelievable. And you hear about this happening to other people's MCs, but it's not real until it happens to you. So you'll remember this. The Jarhead's Marine MC motorcycle club, I think called the Jarhead's MC, something like that. They had 7 bikers, I think, including spouses, who were killed because of a wrong way driver, or perhaps the driver went over the middle line. At least that's how the initial stories read. And it appears that the person, Zukowski, I believe is his name, is going to be finally held at his trial is starting. So it's been 3 years, and it's hard to believe that it's been 3 years. So this is the memorial and that has been built. I don't know where this memorial is. Motorcycle likeness, part of a memorial to honor members of the Jarhead Motorcycle Club killed in a nearby crash, are visible July 13, 2022 on the roadside in Roundolph, New Hampshire. And seeing this makes me want to build something like this for my brothers and sisters that died on the side of the highway. This is an absolutely incredible memorial. I can't even imagine how much something like this would cost, but I think that I would like to do something similar for my brothers and sisters who we lost. We just lost, for those of you who don't know, we just lost a pack of riders in Louisiana about 2 months ago. A wrong way driver took out our entire Louisiana chapter, killing 3, including the president, his wife, and a newly patched Sister of the Cross of the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club. And the sergeant at arms, who is now the vice president, caught on fire. The vice president, who is now the president, was injured, and just everybody was injured. It was terrible. So, looking at this memorial, this is absolutely amazing, and this just hits. It just, man, I tell you what, I'm finding myself uh, stumbling over my words. Is this a bottle of? This looks like somebody put a bottle of tequila here or something, rum or something. But this is a most amazing sight. It brings tears to my eyes to see this, and they got these lights on it, and I guess this is next to the roadway somewhere. I'm going to ride and go see this site. But anyway, the story: Randolph, New Hampshire, the trial for a commercial truck driver charged with negligent homicide in the deaths of 7 motorcycle club members in New Hampshire. Is set to start more than 3 years after the 2019 crash that devastated the region's close-knit biker community and exposed flaws in state driver record keeping. There were so many things that went into this perfect storm, of things to put Mr. Vladimir Zurkowski, just 26 years old, of West Springfield, Massachusetts, on trial, uh, putting him on the road and getting all of these bikers killed. There were so many perfect storm pieces that went into this. Vladimir has pleaded not guilty to multiple counts of negligent homicide, manslaughter, reckless conduct, and driving under the influence in the June 21, 2019 crash. He has been in jail since the day that this happened. So he's been in jail for 3 years. I don't know if he was able to get bail or not. The jury was selected this week and is scheduled to visit the crash scene along a busy 2-lane highway in northern New Hampshire on Monday. And I guess my motorcycle club will be going through this same thing. The trial was delayed because of the pandemic and defense problems with finding a crash reconstruction expert. But it is expected to begin Tuesday and last for several weeks. It's been a long, long, long 3 years, said Manny Ribeiro of the Jarhead's Motorcycle Club, made up of Marine Corps veterans and their spouses. We all feel the same way. We all just want it to be over with. Ribeiro was riding with the group that day, said he's among those that are pretty messed up still from the experience. I imagine he probably is still pretty messed up. The motorcyclists who died were part of a larger group that had just left a motel that evening and were headed to an American Legion post in northern New Hampshire. I'm not even saying it right. Northern New Hampshire, to set up for an annual meeting. They were traveling east on U.S. Route 2 in Randolph when the westbound truck and empty flatbed trailer in tow collided with the group. In addition to the deaths, several bikers were injured. Prosecutors are expected to focus on Zurkowski's drug use at the time of the crash. Federal investigators said Zurkowski, who was returning from delivering vehicles for a Massachusetts transport company, regularly used drugs. After the crash, Zurkowski told police he had used both heroin and cocaine that morning, but that he felt fine and okay to drive later that day. So I guess he felt like the effects of the cocaine and the heroin that morning had worn off, and so he was just fine later, I guess after his high was over, to go on out there and drive. His lawyers, who declined to issue any pretrial statements, are expected to blame the bikers. And there's a whole lot that went on for them to actually come up with that statement. They have argued an independent analysis from March 2020 showed one of the motorcyclists who died was drunk, and he was the one who hit the truck and caused the crash. Federal investigators found that some bikers and passengers were impaired by alcohol, but that it wasn't the reason for the crash. So yeah, like I said, a lot has gone on, and I'm gonna show you like here we're gonna go. So there were so many stories that we did over this, and as we look at the first story, um, and so we're over here on bikerliberty.com. And as we look at the first story, it was kind of almost like an open and shut case. Here, this drunk guy was driving high on the wrong side of the road. And then as the months went on, more information came. That's why when you see the stories and stuff, and when they write these stories and stuff, you just have to be careful. We always have to be careful of everything we say, because it's just hard to know until things are proven. So, probably for the first time, many folks would be hearing for the very first time that there were some of the bikers that were found to be impaired and driving under the influence themselves. And of course, this guy being a immigrant and that sort of thing, a lot of stuff went against him for those reasons as well. So they might have a case maybe. Also, but I think it's crazy that and because I don't, I'm not a partaker of drugs and I don't drink, but I do have a lot of friends that will tell you that yeah, I was high this morning, but I'm not high anymore. And how long do you get? What's the period of time you get that you don't get to drive? That may come into question in a case like this. We don't know, but we do see what they're going to argue. The National Transportation Safety Board approved a report in December 2020 that concluded that Zukowski's impairment from the drugs was the probable cause for him crossing the center line on the highway and sparking the fiery crash. And so, we know this, we know from firsthand knowledge, my club, that when they hit you head on like this, they rupture those gas tanks and everything goes up in flames, including the people. So that's how these crashes are fiery. It's just horrible. So the NTSB, the report that they approved said that his impairment was probable cause, and they say he crossed the center line, whereas his attorneys say that they had a drunken impaired rider who crossed the center line and hit him instead. So there's an argument there. The Zukowski's lawyers unsuccessfully tried to get him a bail hearing so he could be released from jail pending the trial. The state Supreme Court denied the request. So they went all the way to the Supreme Court to try to get him bail. And that did not happen. And there was a lot of there's so much to this story, if you guys remember, but it was 3 years ago, so maybe you don't. Prosecutor said Zukowski should never have been on the road in the first place. And this is true. And this is why this caused the firing of one of the experts that was involved. And we'll go to that story. But if I remember correctly, it was from another state. Maybe the New Jersey was the place that was supposed to report on him. Let's see if they covered here in the story. But they said he never should have been driving in the first place. Where is that? Successful. Oh my goodness! Did I lose my place? The prosecutor said, yeah, here he is. He should never been on the road in the first place. His commercial driver's license should have been revoked in Massachusetts. Okay, Massachusetts is where it was. Because of a drunken driving arrest in Connecticut about 2 months earlier. There we go. Connecticut officials also alerted the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles, but Zukowski's license wasn't suspended. Get this, because of a backlog in out-of-state notifications about driving offenses. An audit also found that an employee briefly reviewed the notification from Connecticut, but did not change Zukowski's record because the worker wasn't trained to do so and didn't bring this case to anyone else's attention. So a lot of failures to even have him with a driver's license at all. In its review, the National Transportation Safety Board found similar backlog problems were in Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and at least 6 other jurisdictions. In Massachusetts, yeah, this is the place. It wasn't New Jersey, it was Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, the head of the registry resigned days after the crash. Another manager who stopped processing alerts from other states about Massachusetts drivers who had broken traffic laws was fired. So this crash, it destroyed a whole lot of lives. Massachusetts officials said out-of-state notifications are now being processed on the day they were received or the following day. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker filed legislation aimed at toughening regulations for commercial drivers. That bill is pending in the legislature. Federal records show that the company, and I remember this too, the company had all kinds of accusations against it. So here they say federal records show that the company Zukowski was driving for, Westfield Transport, faced multiple violations for unsafe driving. The company is now disbanded, and the 2 brothers who ran it were accused of falsifying records. They pleaded not guilty, and their cases are pending in federal court. So this thing is just like, it destroyed a hell of a lot of lives and exposed a lot of people that really weren't doing their jobs, including the owners of Westfield Transport, who are now facing cases in federal court of their own. 2 officials got fired who weren't processing driver's licenses correctly, where this guy, this Zukowski, got a DUI, and he should have had his license revoked or suspended or something, and that was never processed. Since the crash, the Jarheads have held charity motorcycle runs for the family of the fallen 7. The first one in July 2019 drew more than 3,000 bikers, some from as far away as California and Florida, for a 90-mile tribute trip from Laconia to the crash site, where a memorial and a color guard stood. Those killed included 4 people from New Hampshire: Michael Ferrazzi, 62, of Contoocook; Albert Mazza Jr., 59, of Lee; Desma Oaks, 42, of Concord; and Aaron Perry, 45, of Farmington. The remaining 3 victims were Daniel Pereira, 58, of Riverside, Rhode Island, and Joanne and Edward Core, both 58, of Lakeville, Massachusetts. Today, another memorial near US 2 depicts 5 still silhouettes of riderless motorcycles with a set of wings for each of the 7 riders. Visitors have attached American flags, bandanas, and flowers to the bikes. The names of the dead are engraved on the motorcycles and on a granite monument off the side, along with the words, "Never Forget." And that's this beautiful monument right here. This is just absolutely amazing, this monument. So, oh my goodness. I mean, this was just a story until it became a real thing in my life. And since I received this, since this happened to us, I have received so many pictures from other motorcycle clubs that have gone through the exact same thing. You will not believe how many motorcycle clubs have had members and chapters, entire chapters, run over. Run the hell over. Just run over. Head on. People have rolled through the back of the pack. It is absolutely mind-blowing how many motorcycle clubs this has happened to. Well, it didn't happen to us for 50 years, but it only has to happen one time. And it shakes you to the core. I tell you, if you guys remember, I couldn't even really ride home. I had to pull my motorcycle over. I was riding back, in our case, we were all riding, and I mean many chapters of us. Like they said, they were part of a larger contingent. Almost all of our chapters were on the road to a national president's meeting that was being held in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And to lose a chapter, and then we had to ride back home. And there were several times I just pulled off the highway. I was so shaky. And because once you were at that crash site, and then in my particular situation, when I went back to the crash site, some of the remains were still on the road, which was tough. Still on the side of the road, which was really tough. So after seeing something like that, it is very difficult to ride. It was for me. And I can imagine, like when the person that they mentioned here in this article said that it was still tough for him. He was still devastated, still broken apart. And he was there. He said, we all feel the same way. We all just want this to be over with. This was Manny Ribeiro. And he said he's among those that are still pretty messed up from the experience. And I wasn't even in the crash, just riding by, just stopping to just looking at. I arrived at the crash not long after it happened because I was behind them, and just to see the smoke billowing up, and it was crazy. In fact, I was at a gas station when I was alerted that it happened. A truck driver and his wife came up to me to tell me about the crash and to tell me to be careful, not knowing that those were my club brothers and sisters. At the same time, they're telling me, hey, man, what we saw up there was so horrible. At the same time, my phone rang. And as they're talking to me, I get the call that tells me one of my presidents is dead. A president I personally recruited to this club. Somebody I worked with for 4 years to get that chapter started. So in this, and I tell you something, let me go here to back. So this, I believe, this story that we did, and we did this October 2, 2019, and you I don't know if you guys can see this on your phones, since most of the people actually watch this on their phones, but all these motorcycles and parts and pieces, until you see something like this. And for the Black Sabbath, it's been twice, 2 years in a row. We've had entire packs run over 2 years in a row. So it was last year and this year. Last year, a pack of our brothers was run over from behind, took out 4 or 5 bikes, and killed a vice president of the Macon chapter. And then this year, we had a pack taken out from a wrong way driver from the front. So we've been through this. We've been through this twice in 2 years. And until you see something like this, and until you roll up on this level of devastation, you have no idea what this is like. It is just horrific. It looks like a war zone. It's absolutely unspeakable. So in this story that we did back then, we talked about the affidavit that was unsealed that revealed grisly witness reports. And there's nothing about one of these stories that you can tell that isn't grisly. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. But they said Vladimir Zavarsky's truck and trailer was driving erratically before the collision, and he appeared to flee after the crash. So this was, the big story at the time when we told it. And then in this story, it talked about the shaky record that Westfield Transport had. So now we know that the owners of it have been charged with federal crimes. And that was in that story. And then I remember ICE wanted to put a detainer request on him because the kid was from the Ukraine. I don't know if you guys remember that. So we had immigration officials in on it, on the story. And, one of the things that could possibly happen to him is he is deported back to the Ukraine after he's released from custody, if he's ever released from custody. And the interesting thing about this is there's probably no Ukraine to go back to, right? So this told the story of him. He was a young guy, and he was driving too much, and I think he was using stimulants to stay awake. This was the story that talked about the thousands of out-of-state traffic notices that were found that were untouched by the Massachusetts RMV. So tens of thousands of paper notices detailing traffic infractions that Massachusetts drivers compiled in other states have been sitting untouched in 53 bins at a state facility in Quincy, a preliminary review by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation had found. So they found all these notices that were supposed to be delivered to say this person can't drive because he got a DUI in this other state. And I don't know whether it was because of COVID or whatever, but it got backed up and they just started sticking it in bins. They had 53 bins, which is why this guy was driving. Connecticut notified the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles about Zurkowski's incident, both electronically and through a mailed notice that would have got into one of the bins. The report released on Monday says, under state law, Zurkowski's commercial driver's license should have been immediately terminated and his right to drive a passenger vehicle suspended. So if you get a DUI, they terminate your right to drive a. It's funny because you could be driving a be driving a regular car. You get a DUI in a regular car, you're not even driving for work, but they suspend your right to drive for a living. They terminate it if you get a DUI. You have a higher burden on you than a regular person driving. They make it that way. You get a DUI, you're not supposed to be able to make a living driving because we can't trust you behind the wheel. So for whatever reason, they sent that, but it was never put into effect. Instead, 6 weeks later, and still licensed by the state despite the violation, Zukowski of West Springfield, Massachusetts, struck a group of motorcyclists June 21st after crossing a double yellow line on a rural highway in Lancaster, New Hampshire, with his truck and trailer. 7 people died, but his attorneys argue that no, he didn't do that. They did, or at least one of them did. So the alarming report sparked by the horrific crash in New Hampshire and outlined in a Monday memo sheds light on a colossal breakdown in Massachusetts. And this resulted in a lady stepping down from her job. So you're seeing this play out. I can't believe it took 3 years. It has taken, well, of course, the global pandemic was going on. This right here happened. And this didn't happen for my club brothers. I wish that this had happened for my club brothers and sisters, but Kraft pledged $100,000 for the families of the bikers killed in the accident. So I remember that members of the U.S. Veterans Motorcycle Club and Flag were participating here. Looks like you got Blue Knights there. But they pledged $100,000 to help the victims and the families. Bikers from as far away as Louisiana rode for the event. And, they I remember this story. You guys can go to Biker Liberty and go check out all these stories to get reacquainted, refamiliarized with the case. But we covered it extensively. We had 6 stories on this over the time that happened. So now there will be legislation. There will be activity in the courts based on this case, and we will see what happens. Now, Milton says if you get a DUI with a CDL, you will never drive again for anyone. Wow. So there is not even any time, like a year or 2 or 3, where they say, okay, you're good again. He says you will never get to drive again. The animal and his employers were moving vehicles with extras within same. Employers were found culpable, paid a large fine, and disappeared. Milton Evans said, Goose says that's not true. There are companies that hire people in the program. Yeah, I just, I'm not saying you should get a DUI, but it'd be terrible if one mistake would cause you to never be able to drive again. But I don't know. Somebody says we MCs, and I'm speaking clubs and independent bikers, need to get organized and get together to press for stronger laws for injuring and killing bikers. And I probably never would have even agreed to that if that hadn't happened in my own club. If I hadn't seen it before with my own eyes. Goose says if you fill a random drug, Goose is a truck driver. He's a trucker. He drove through the entire pandemic. And I don't think I know he did catch COVID at one point, but he drove through the entire pandemic when everybody was terrified, when people were afraid to be on the road. My club brother Goose was an essential. And I got to tell you guys, when we had all you non-essentials off the highway, it was so nice here in Atlanta. You could go anywhere in Atlanta in 15 minutes. And now all you non-essentials are back. But anyway, he is a trucker. So he says, if you fail a random drug test, you have to go into a government program to be able to drive again. I wonder how bad that program. He was using 10 bags of heroin a day, among other drugs, says Terry. Jeremy says, my condolences out to you and everyone involved. Thank you very much. So Goose remembers our brother VP Iceberg. Absolutely. I'm just going through you guys' comments. So um, Mad Dog Leathernecks, one of your brothers stopped and helped me plug my tire 2 weeks ago in Long Island, New York. This is what bikers do to each other. You know, this is what we do for each other. So this is going to be very tough. And, you know, I hope it doesn't take us 3 years to get some justice like it has taken the Jarhead MC. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what it's going to be like to go to court and face this person. I don't know what it's going to be like for my brothers and sisters who are left alive to go to court and face this person. I don't even know if they're going, but I imagine that they probably would. And I'll let you guys know what that's like. And it can't be good. And boy, the last thing I want to see is somebody up there feeling sorry for himself and all that sort of thing. I'd like to see somebody up there that takes responsibility. I don't know if we have that in America. Mikey says, where's the applause for that? What did I miss? My applause for my brother Goose, who was an essential? Absolutely. I can't remember. Listen, I can remember talking to Goose, and we would talk for hours because he was out there, and also my brother Merlin, who was out there, and my club brother Big Meech, and I just have so many club brothers that are truck drivers and stuff, and they were out there on those roads when people were afraid to even breathe each other's air. And so, yeah, they know some of these laws, some of these rules. Man. So I found myself all choked up today because I don't know what's going to come of this trial, but everybody's got their attorney. When the attorneys come in, like the case is open and shut. Guy crosses the line and kills 7 bikers. It's open and shut until the attorneys and stuff get involved. And then they have transportation experts that come in and say, no, hold on a minute. Your guys were drunk too, and it was your guys that did it. And it just goes back and forth. And who can imagine what goes on? So I'm watching carefully so I can see what tricks and curveballs, because we're going to be going through this. And my heart goes out to those folks, because me and my club brothers and sisters, we know what this is. We know what this is about. So my brother, Black, who is now the VP in North Shore, said, yes, I'll be in court, Brother Black Dragon. And I'll be there with you. I'll be there with you. And I think you know that. If you don't know that, you know now. Man, this story's, man, I got to get me a drink. Get this frog out of my throat. Holy Lord, Jesus. Thank you, Ragnar, for introducing me to unsweet tea. You can just drink on this all day and not get fat. It helps you get the frog out of your throat too. So, Goose said, I saw 60-year-old ladies get into a full-on fist fight over toilet paper in the middle of the store. That's because there was no toilet paper. And you need something to wipe your behind. I've always bought toilet paper in bulk just because So I never had to buy toilet paper through the whole toilet paper crisis because I came from a large family and that was just something that they bought in bulk. So I always went to the Dollar General and I would always buy 20 roll or 50 roll cases anyway, just because. I was so glad I did that because like toilet paper was a premium. I know this was a bad segue, but I didn't bring up the toilet paper. They did. My club brother brought that up. So I don't know, man. I can only tell you to ride safely. And there's only so safe that you can ride. Some part of you is at the mercy of others. And pulling up and seeing all those motorcycles torn up on the side of the road, it's not something you ever want to see in your entire life. It is it's like pulling up on a war zone. And you see all these wonderful motorcycles and things just absolutely destroyed. And the bodies are destroyed too. And you guys know I just had a little wreck the other day. I was only doing like 7 miles an hour. I slammed my foot on the ground to keep my bike from falling, and I felt like I had broken my entire whole left ass, leg, thigh. I'm still limping. It hurts so bad at 7 miles an hour. I didn't got to the point where at this age, I'm afraid to fall off my motorcycle. Like, am I going to ever heal? Like when you get this age, like you don't heal, like you just get in like perpetual suspension of healing. You don't even, you don't even move. Everything is all crickety. And I'm telling you, man, getting old is not, man, you don't want to be old, but you damn sure don't want to be old and get hurt. Ouch. Awkward. So Melton said they were stealing toilet paper from the store bathrooms that I delivered to during the pandemic. I just want to say to all of my truck drivers and first responders and stuff, you guys were mofos during the pandemic. You guys were real G's. You guys were some mofos, bro, during the pandemic. And I mean mofos in the greatest of ways. I mean that with the just greatest pride. I'm calling you guys mofos for real, bro. Y'all were something else. You essentials, you guys were the essentials. You know, I had essential credentials because I'm a journalist. So I was able to print my own essential certificate because, the police were pulling you over back then. You're not supposed to be out. Man, we almost got to really see like martial law. And, the police were like, what are you doing on the road? And I was like, hey, bro, don't do that. I'm an essential. I'm news media. And I tell you what, rolling around on the roads was so beautiful because there wasn't nobody out there. But the real essentials were you truckers and train drivers and airplane flyers and pilots and stewardesses and nurses and you folks that kept this country going. You guys are the real essentials along with me and you guys. Y'all are the ones. I'm just kidding. I was no essential, but you guys are absolutely, man, amazing, man. And my club brothers, because no one was really like working. No one was going to work. I'd sit on the phone and talk to my club brothers for hours as they'd be riding. And then they were facing stuff that was almost like riots. Like they'd be pulling into some of these stores and and the store shelves were empty, man. It was crazy, 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 crazy. And somebody from Canada just said something. Where's that? I just saw something from somebody from Canada. I saw a Canadian flag, I think. Oh, here it is. Rise up, freedom fighting family worldwide. Let's show the world how family gathers in the power of numbers, Prince Edward Island, Canada. What's going on in Prince Edward Island? Am I missing something? Police never pulled anyone over here for being out. Well, it did happen around here. Looking forward to your content at Sturgis. Is someone going to Sturgis? Who needs handlebar bolts? You guys are picking on my story I did the other day. Okay, so president got his MRI results. I have a torn labrum in my right hip from the accident. So walking like an old man. Yeah, I was surprised you was able to walk at all. So a couple of my brothers and sisters walked out of that accident, and I don't know how. And Black, my vice president Black, so just to tell his story a little bit, he was riding next to President Cuban when the pickup truck hit him head on. So as I remember them telling me the story, the truck was coming at him head on, and they both kind of went this way, and the truck turned that way with him. And the president got run completely over with his wife. Black was able to, and I don't know, how do you do this? How do you decide at highway speed that it's time to get off my motorcycle? But I guess if you ain't got no choice, you ain't got no choice. I mean, you're not thinking about, well, damn, the ground is really moving fast and it's going to hurt. I mean, if you're looking at, I'm going to die, then maybe it's easy to make the leap. But something really bad has got to be happening for you to say, okay, I guess I'll just jump off my motorcycle right now. And that's what VP Black, who was Sergeant at Arms Black then, that's what he did. He jumped off his motorcycle. He said I pushed as hard as I could, and as he pushed off the motorcycle is right when the collision happened. As he pushed off the motorcycle, the collision happened. Boom, boom, boom. And his motorcycle exploded as he left it. Can you imagine the mere seconds? And God is so good, whereas you're just a half an inch from somebody and they perish and you don't. And it can leave a psychological impairment on you. It can make you feel very guilty, but you can't feel guilty because God it wasn't your day that day. We all get a time, but to push away from the motorcycle, and the minute you leave the motorcycle explodes. And to how fast does this happen? And the gasoline and fire, as he's pushed away from the motorcycle gets hit, it explodes, and the gasoline and fire catch up to him and catch him on fire, and he is on fire before he ever even hits the ground. I mean, if you can slow motion that out in your mind, he's on fire before he ever even hits the ground. And God, how long? I mean, when I talked to the Prez, I asked him, I said, the VP then, who's now Prez now, I asked him, I said, well, how long did you roll on the ground? And he said, it seemed like I rolled forever. So if you can imagine, Black rolling and rolling and rolling. And then when he finally gets up and he's walking around like, oh my God, I'm still alive. And his wife screams, you're on fire. So now he's got to try to figure out how to put himself out. So, when I think about what happened to those Marines, those Jarheads, the Jarhead MC, And you don't know how many clubs have sent me clips of this happening to them. What the hell is going on out here? But we need some penalties. We need something to punish these people with. And this is why me and my club brothers, sisters and stuff, we must go to trial. We must sit there. We must look this person in the face. We must let everyone know this is not okay. Hopefully he doesn't get a slap on the wrist in 3 or 4 years or 6 or 7 years. Hopefully he's forced to pay in his life in terms of years behind bars. Decades, hopefully. Especially if he's found to have been drunk or under the influence of some kind. And you see what they say, like Zukowski is, well, I had heroin and stuff earlier, but I was fine to drive. The hell's wrong with people? Like, people don't take any responsibility these days anymore. Maybe you go and you say, well, Your Honor, I was wrong, and throw myself on the mercy of the court, but that doesn't happen. So anyway, we will see what goes on in this story. We'll see what goes on in the story. Derek says he was running a garbage truck through the pandemic, always taking out the trash. Goose says that during the pandemic, it was almost, it was in Chicago. It was craziness for about 2 weeks. Yeah, people get crazy when there's no food and water and stuff like that, man. Michael wants you to recover quickly, Black. It's already been a couple of months, and listen, I hurt myself a month ago, and I'm still limping, bro. So I know you're limping. JW says, I personally can't even fly an American flag without offending somebody. When somebody tries to light your flag on fire in the middle of the night and you have family sleeping. Did that happen? Damn. That's crazy. Shadow says trying to hold up a 1/4-ton vision with 1 foot is a move for Superman, not an old man. My body will tell you that. I screamed I screamed when that happened. My whole left side below my waist just went numb. I thought I had snapped my leg, and we're only talking 7 miles an hour. Now, one thing is kind of crazy because when I was younger, I had a similar kind of accident at 50 miles an hour. I threw my leg down and bounced that bike back up and never, everything was good. Slammed that leg down and I was good. Didn't even hurt. You get old, that changes. Honestly, always thought if someone hit a motorcycle and was at fault, should be charged with at least 3rd-degree attempted vehicle homicide. I think that would raise more attention. I think it would too. Black says, I need a surgery, but I'll be back. I love riding, brother. Still rattled, but I love to ride. I know you're rattled because I was rattled and I wasn't even in the accident. And, but I'm so proud, man. I'm so proud of my Louisiana chapter. I'm so proud of my brothers and sisters there. I'm so proud of them. I thought maybe we would lose that chapter. They took a big loss and so strong, my brothers and sisters there. Shadow says it seems to be open season on group riders, no matter what club is running. Indiana Freedom Ride last weekend got hit by a car. Damn. And I just never knew it was dangerous like that. I mean, I've ridden in the pack all my life and never saw all this craziness. People running over whole bike clubs. But anyway, Terry said I was hit by a deer a month ago. Rod and screws in my left leg, starting physical therapy next week. Ouch. Ouch. And Mikey calls for more applause. And we'll do that. All right, my friends. It's just my hour. My hour is up now. And I have a lot of stories. And what I want to do is start giving you guys more stories. And we'll do them in like little 3 to 5 minute, 7-minute segments, no longer than 15 minutes. And we'll do those throughout the day. So we're going to be publishing content every day. And as you guys are sending me stories, I will dang sure get them out there and my opinion to them or whatever the case may be. And I just really appreciate all of the participation. Please like and share my channel. Please like and share that. I would appreciate it. And if you want to, absolutely subscribe and hit the notification button. Black Dragon Biker TV and the Black Dragon Biker News Network can be found on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Man, I just want to thank you guys for taking me. What am I at 60,000 already? I'm very close to 60,000 subscribers on TikTok. And that is unreal. It has happened so freaking fast. It is just absolutely unreal. Like, what am I at right now? 57,100. Like, wow. Nobody expected this. So I guess I'm kind of like a small TikTok sensation. Really cool. Thank you guys for that. Or you can order my books, Prospects Bible, Sergeant at Arms Bible, President's Bible, Public Relations Officer's Bible, and Prospects Bible for Women's Motorcycle Clubs on Amazon, Kindle, and you can also order it at blackdragonsgear.com. And let me see if this has happened yet. Hold on. Oh, rats, man. So my audio book has not been approved yet, but any day the audiobook should be approved on Audible, and you'll be able to get my first audiobook in a couple of days, I hope. They said within 10 days, so it's been 4 now. So come on, people. Join our podcast, our daily podcast, The Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos, The Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos, where you get your podcasts. We have a Discord server. Please join our Discord server in the description box below. And for those of you who want to send a donation to the North Shore chapter fundraiser, go to GoFundMe and Black Sabbath MC North Shore, Louisiana chapter fundraiser. And you can donate to the brothers and sisters there and help in their recovery. You can get my email address at blackdragon@blacksabbathmc.com, blackdragon@blacksabbathmc.com. And if you need to call me here in the station, 404-692-0336. Oh, wait, let's see. Hold on. What's going on, Lisa? Aha. And my man, big man Chris, it's his birthday today, man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Big Chris. Yeah. Want to say happy birthday to you. Yeah. All right. How was that? Was that all right? Really? Anyway, happy birthday, big man Chris. One of my mods. I appreciate you, man, for being on here. Alyssa called to let me know to say happy birthday. I like this, man. So you guys can call me right in the studio, especially if I'm doing something stupid or whatever. Someone can, Alyssa or whatever, one of you guys can call me and say, hey, man, don't forget to say happy birthday to big man Chris. So happy birthday, man. And you got a song for me. You know, I was thinking about becoming a rapper. Don't do that. Do not do that. All right. That's it for me right now. Listen, if you need some help in putting together something, hit me at clarity.fm/black-dragon, clarity.fm/black-dragon. And we can talk about whatever problem you might have in your motorcycle club, starting a motorcycle club, or even conflict management. Holler at me, and we'll be able to help you out. Okay, that's it. That's my 2 cents. Love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. I'm Black Dragon, and we'll see you with some more stories later on. And we produce content every day, at least 6 days a week, oftentimes 7. All right, same bad time, same bad channel tomorrow, and look for some broadcasts today because we'll be doing some more news. All right, that's it. I'm out. Get skinny and get the book.
Get Black Dragon's first book, The Prospect's Bible, to learn how to join a motorcycle club. It has been an Amazon #1 bestseller for the past 7 years and is required reading for over 3,000 motorcycle clubs worldwide. This book is a must-have for new people venturing onto the motorcycle club set. It will teach you how to prepare yourself for service to the motorcycle club nation and show you how to qualify a motorcycle club to be worthy of your service. Available on Amazon, Kindle, and for order at your local bookstore. Get your autographed copy at blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club prospect you can be. Get the book.
Prepare yourself to take the helm as president of your mighty motorcycle club by delving into the pages of Black Dragon's newest book, The President's Bible, Chronicle 1, Principles of Motorcycle Club Leadership. There you will learn to advance your skills in applying the 14 scientific principles of leadership similar to those taught to officers in the United States Naval Service. Available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. Get yours today on Amazon, Kindle, or order it at your local bookstore. Order your autographed copy from blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club president you can be. Get the book.
You are fake news.
Black Dragon Biker News Network. Biker news you can trust.
Biker news you can trust. Biker news you can trust. Biker news you can trust.